Hello guys, welcome. In this video tutorial we're gonna create a download button with a timer. So if you wanna create something like this where you have a download button and whenever somebody clicks on it, it's gonna wait for let's say 5 seconds, and whenever this timer reaches 0, it's gonna download a file automatically, and they can also retry and download the same file just like that. So if you wanna create something like this, then you can follow this tutorial. And first thing I wanna make sure that you need to run your HTML file inside a local server, right? So if you have a web hosting or web server, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you are working inside a local machine or local computer, then you need to make sure that you are running your HTML file inside a local server. So if you run your HTML file directly inside your web browser, then what's gonna happen? Your web browser will try to, read that file, open that file inside the current tab or new tab instead of downloading that file. So if you are working with zip files, the file that your browser can't read, then it's okay for you. But if you are working with like text file, HTML files, audio file, video file, in that case your browser might try to open that file instead of downloading that file. To fix that issue, what you need to do, you need to make sure that you are working inside a local server. But if you are working, or if you're gonna upload your code to a server, then you don't have to worry about it. But if you're working inside your local machine, make sure you're working inside a local server. If you don't know anything about local server and stuff like that, then you don't have to worry about it, because in this tutorial we're gonna use this Visual Studio Code Editor. So this Visual Studio Code Editor support local server. So if you have this application inside your computer, or you can install it, it's totally free. You can Google it and install it inside your machine, and after that you need to run this application inside your computer. And here you will see you will have bunch of options like new file, open file, and open folder. So here you need to open your folder, right? So you can click this option, open folder, right? Make sure you are working with the folder, not a file, a folder. So if you don't have a folder already ready there, then you can right click and create a new folder, and you can work inside that folder. But I have a folder, this folder. I'm gonna work with this folder, so I'm gonna select that folder and I'm gonna click the select folder option, and it's gonna open that folder inside this text editor. As you can see here, I have my thanks for watching folder there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna delete everything from there, because it's always better to work with the empty folder. Now this is my folder and I have nothing inside my folder. Next I'm gonna create a file. The file name gonna be index and the extension gonna be HTML. Okay, so index.html is my file name and the extension. And yeah, and next what we're gonna do, we're gonna start with HTML file syntax, and here you can write anything like working. So yeah, for now that's enough. And after that you need to make sure that you have this option available there. If you are not able to see this option, then what you need to do, you need to click on this extension option, and here you need to search for live server, and you need to install this extension inside your Visual Studio Code. Okay, and after installing this extension you will see this option at the bottom, and you need to click on it, and it's gonna start a server. See, so by default it's gonna pick port number 5500, but in my case it's using 5501 because 5500 is already occupied. So but in your case it's gonna take port number 5500, and now our server is running. But in your case, if it's not running, then make sure that you are working inside a folder, not a file. Okay, you are working inside a folder. Okay, make sure you are working inside a folder, and make sure you have a proper HTML syntax over there. Now I'm gonna assume that you are able to run your server, everything is working. And yeah, so if you update your code, right, and if you save your file, you will see your browser is gonna automatically refresh. So whenever you make any changes there and save your file, it's automatically gonna detect that change, it's gonna refresh the whole document for you. So it's a benefit of using local server. Now why don't we get started with our download button. So first of all, I'm gonna create a div where the ID for my div gonna be my outer div, and inside this outer div, because I'm gonna wrap everything inside this div, so inside this outer div I'm gonna create another div where the ID is my download div, and inside this download div, this is just a button that I'm gonna style later, but inside this div I'm gonna have two more divs. First div for the icon, so I'm gonna write my icon, and after that I'm gonna create another div where the ID gonna be my text for my download button. Okay, so why don't we provide the text? So for the text for my download button gonna be download, so I'm gonna write download here, my text download. Okay, and for the icon, so we need this icon, right? So if you want to include icons inside HTML, then you can use Font Awesome or Google Icons. Yeah, so in this tutorial I'm gonna use Google Icons. So for that you need to link Google style sheet, this one, Google material symbols, this one. So you can copy this link tag, whole link tag, or this source from the description below. So using this link tag, what you are doing, you are linking a style sheet from Google, right? And using the style sheet you will be able to use Google font, Google icons inside your HTML document. And after that you need to tell that where you want to display or which icon you want to display there. So I want to display my icon inside this div, my icon div. So here I will use span tags. Okay, so here one more thing you need to keep in mind, that your class name should be material symbols outlined. Okay, so material dash symbols dash outlined. Okay, so using this class name, this style sheet can understand where you want to insert your icon, and between these span tags you want to use your icon name, which icon you want to display there. So I want to display this icon arrow underscore downward. Okay, so if I save this, you will see I have a this download icon over there. So if it's not working, let's say if you are getting something like this, so that means your class name is not correct or your style sheet is not correct. Okay, so if your class name is incorrect or your style sheet not available, in that case you won't be able to load the icon. And yeah, so using this between the span tags you can use different icon names like replay to use different icons, or schedule, right? After using your icon name here, you can change the icon. So right now we are looking for downward arrow. Okay, so now let's style this button. So first of all, what I want to do, I want to display my button at the center. I want to align everything at the center. For that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this outer div and I'm going to use CSS. So I need to use style tags, and here first of all I'm going to remove all the default padding 0 and margin 0, and I also want to change the font. I don't like this font. So if you want to change the font, for that you also need to use another Google font style sheet, this one. Okay, so font family Montserrat, so we are using this font family Montserrat. So you need to write here font family, the name of that font family is Montserrat. Now see, it's working. And after that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to style the outer div. So I'm going to make sure this outer div is taking 100% of the width and 100% of the viewport height. Okay, and after that I want to align everything at the center. For that you can use display flex and align item center. align item center. So it's already aligned vertically, but if you want to align your content horizontally, then you need to write justify content center. So now everything is aligned centered, but the only issue is that my icon and text are present in two different rows. I want to display both the content in a single row, right, side by side, something like this. For that, what I need to do, I need to select my download button, this div, the parent div for my icon and for my text, this one. So here I want to select my download button, and first of all I'm gonna add height 40 pixels and border 2 pixels solid #00CFFC. okay, and I want to make the border little bit round. Or why don't we arrange our content first? So first of all, I want to arrange everything in a single row. For that we can use display flex. So this display flex will try to arrange everything inside a single row. See, everything arranged in a single row. Now I want to align everything vertically, right? So when you want to align anything vertically, for that you need to use align items center. Now everything aligned vertically. And yeah, now let's make edges rounder. For that we're gonna use border radius, so same as the height, border radius 40 pixels. So now it's round. Okay, so now let's add a little bit of gap. So I'm gonna use padding, auto from top and bottom, or 0 from top and bottom, 3 pixels from left and right. Okay, and here after that I want to select my icon because I want to add a color around my icon. For that I'm going to select my icon, this div including my icon. So I'm going to select this ID, my icon, and here I'm going to use my icon, so height. So I don't want to take 100% of the height, so I want to leave little bit. Can you see there's a gap between the button border and the button, round button? There's a gap from top, bottom and left, so I want to keep some spacing for that. So I don't want to take whole 40 pixel, I want to leave 3 pixel from the top, 3 pixel from the bottom, which means 3 plus 3 6. So I want to leave 40 minus 6 pixels equals to 34. So I'm gonna use height 34 pixels and also width 34 pixels. Okay, so I'm gonna use background color same. Okay, and I want to make this button or this icon round. So for that I will use border radius same as the height 34 pixel. Okay, now similar. The only issue is that we need to align this button at the center. It's not aligned right now, so for that we can use display flex, justify content center, and now align everything vertically. So align item center. Okay, now I want to change the icon color. So you can select your span tag, or you can select the outer div and give it a color property, color white, just like that. Now see, it's white. So for my button div I want to add some gap from left and right, so I'm going to select my button div, this download text div. So my text here, so I want to add margin from top and bottom auto, but from left and right I want to leave 7 pixels. Okay, yeah, that's all. Now I want to add hover effect. Also I want to change the text color, so I want to change the text color from black to same as the border, and I want to change the font weight, so font weight bold. Okay, so now I want to add hover effect. So I want to add hover effect to my button, not to my outer div, to my button. So I will select my button, so my button, then hover. So when somebody hover the mouse over my button, what I want to do, I want to change background color from white or transparent to this one. So you will see it's working, right? So the only issue is my download text is disappearing because my text color is exactly same as the background color. Because of that, I'm not able to see my text there. So whenever somebody hover their mouse over my button, I want to change the color so I can see the text there. You can use a different color, let's say red, then you will be able to see your background color, but I still want to use this color. For that, I need to change the color of my text. For that, I will use the same property again here. So previously what I was doing that I was selecting the button, so when somebody hover their mouse, I want to change the background color of the button. But next time I want to do the same, but here I don't want to change the background color, I want to change the color of my text. Okay, my text. So whenever somebody hover mouse over this div or this button, I want to change the color of this element or this div. So I will use color, so I'm gonna use color white. So here, see, it's working, and I want to change cursor to pointer. So now see, it's working. Now everything is done with JavaScript with CSS. Now let's get started with JavaScript. So if you want to include JavaScript, you need to use script tag, and yeah, script. Okay, so if you want to make sure that your script is working, then you can use this alert function and alert something like working. And now see, working, I misspelled it, it's okay. And yeah, so whenever somebody click this button, I wanna start the interval, right? I wanna start the interval. For that, you need to run a click event. So when you wanna run the click event, whenever somebody click the button, so I wanna select my button div, and here I will use on click equals to, then function name run the interval. Okay, that's the user defined function. Okay, so this is a user defined function. So if we click on it, you will see inside your inspect console tab, you will get this error because you are trying to run this function, but this function is not defined. So you need to manually define this function. So here, how do you define a function inside JavaScript? You use this keyword function, then the function name is run this interval, and here between these curly braces you need to provide your statement. Okay, so here what you want to do, we want to start the interval. So how do you start the interval? For that, you use set interval, and here you need to create your function. So this is an anonymous function, and here you need to provide the statement, and here you can provide your delay. We want 1 second delay, and here we want to alert something like working. So whenever somebody click this button, I'm running this function, and here this function gonna start or set an interval where this interval gonna alert working again and again after 1 second. So if you refresh your web browser, nothing gonna happen, but if you click this download button, you will see working after 1 second, again working after 1 second. See, that's how intervals work. But you don't want to alert something like working there. What you want to do, you want to change this download text like this. You want to change this download text to something like please wait for 4 seconds, 5 seconds, right? So if you want to count from 5 to 0, for that you can use you can create a variable that's a counter equals to 5. Okay, if you want to start from 5, you can use 5. If you want to start from 10, you can use 10. If you want to start from 20, it totally depends. So I'm going to use 5 there. And here, whenever somebody click this button, this function gonna start this interval. So inside this interval, what we gonna do, we wanna alert this number, this counter number. Okay, so if I save this and click this download button, you will see first time I will get 5, then again 5, then again 5, then again 5, then again 5. But we need something like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For that we need to change this number. We wanna increase the number or decrease the number. We can use increment or decrement. So if I use counter minus minus, this means I wanna decrement the value of my counter one by one. So for the first time when this interval gonna run, the counter gonna be 5. Here counter will decrement the value. Decrement means value equals to value minus 1, or 5 equals to 5 minus 1. So next time 5 is 4, then 4 minus 1, then 3, then 3 minus 1, so on. See, 5 4 3, something like this. So here for the first time it's gonna be 5, after the decrement it's gonna be 4, then after the decrement 3 2 1, something like that. So if I click this download button, you see I will get 5 4 3 2 1. So it's working, right? But I don't wanna display this text inside a alert box, right? I want to display it inside my button. So I want to update this button text. So I can select this element using the ID. So I can create a variable here. My button text equals to document dot get element by ID, and the ID of that element I want to select this element. So has ID. So whenever I'm gonna use this variable my button text, I'm referring to this element. Okay, so if I use this here, so I'm gonna comment this out. So here if I use this variable here, so I'm referring to this div, and if I use dot inner text, so I want to change the inner text of this element. So I want to change this inner text from download to something like 5 4 3 2 1. Okay, so now if I save it, nothing gonna happen, but if I click this button, you will see download will disappear and you will see something like 5 4 3 2 1. So it's working, right? But we need something else. We need something like please wait 5 4 3 2 1, something like that. We need another text at the beginning. So you need to concatenate. Concatenate means you wanna join and variable value with the string value. Okay, so if you wrap anything between these double quotes, that means it's a string. Okay, so it's a variable. Without the quotes, it's a variable. And here please wait colon and space. So that's the string, and after that you will get your counter value like 5 4 3 2 1. So if I save this and refresh it and download, please wait for 3 2 1 0 minus 2 minus 3. So what's happening is decrementing the value. Okay, but we don't want to decrement the value anymore whenever we reach 0, right? We don't want to decrement the value whenever we reach 0. For that, what we can do, we can stop this interval. Whenever this counter value reaches 0, I want to stop this interval. So how can you stop the interval? For that you need to use so first of all you need to track down the value. So you can use if condition here. So you can create a if condition. So here you are making sure this counter variable is greater than 0. Okay, or at least equals to 0. So if you take value like 5, so 5 is greater than 0. If you take another value, let's say 3 is greater than 0. If you take another value like 0, so 0 is not greater than 0, but at least 0 is equals to 0. So for all these three conditions, this is true, right? It's gonna return true for all these but if we pass something like negative value, so -1 is not equals to 0 or also not greater than 0. So now it's gonna return, for negative value it's gonna return false, which means for if the value gonna return true, then what we wanna do, we wanna decrement the value further. Also we wanna update the text. like please wait 5 4 3 2 1, but whenever the value reaches 0 or less than 0, when the value is not equals to 0 or not greater than 0, then what we're gonna do, else what you wanna do, we wanna stop this interval. So how do you stop the interval? For that you use clear interval and the name of your interval. For that what we need to do, we need to store this interval inside a variable. So variable equals to my interval equals to, and here using this variable name we can select this interval. So clear interval, the variable name. See, so now you will see, if I save this and click this download button, you will see 5 4 3 2 1 and 0, and it's gonna stop, because whenever the value is less than 0 means negative value, -1 -2 whatever, it's gonna clear the interval, it's gonna stop this interval. Clear, right? And yeah, so whenever the value reaches 0, I want to download the file. For that what I need to do, I'm gonna create new element. So here I'm selecting HTML element, this element, but if you want to create new HTML element you can also do that. So you can create my download element equals, so if you want to create an element, that for that you can use document dot create element, and the element, let's say I'm gonna create an anchor element. Okay, and here I want to set this element. So whenever I'm gonna use this variable, I'm referring to this anchor element or anchor tag. Here I'm gonna use dot href. So you remember, so you use a href link, let's say google.com, something like that. Okay, so using this href I'm doing the same thing, I'm assigning the source for this anchor tag. Okay, so the source gonna be the file that we wanna download. So inside my folder, this folder, thanks for watching folder, I'm gonna create a new file. This file gonna be download.txt. okay, download.txt, and this file gonna contain one text, thanks for downloading. Okay, so I'm gonna save this file. So here I'm gonna update the source. So here I'm gonna write the file name is download.txt. okay, and after that make sure you are using this dot download attribute there. You can set it to true is a boolean value, or you can give it a name. So whenever you download this file will have a name, right? You can override the name. So whenever somebody downloads this file, they won't get the file with the same name, they will get the file with the new name, let's say new name.txt, or your website name, let's say myworld.txt. It's totally up to you, right? So I'm gonna use programming head.txt. okay, it's totally up to you. And make sure you are, so using this variable you are creating an element, and using .href you are providing the source, and here using .download you are telling your browser that you want to download something, and here you are providing the name for that downloadable file. Okay, so okay, now save this, now refresh, and you see nothing is there. So I'm gonna click this button, 1 2 3, so nothing gonna happen, by the way. So yeah, it's gonna reach 0 and it's gonna stop there, because here we are creating an element, we are providing the source, we are providing the download name, whatever, but we are not clicking this, because in order to, whenever you are using anchor tags, right, whenever you are using anchor tags, so if you wanna go to another page, you need to click that tag, right? You need to click that link. So if you wanna download this file, you need to click on it. So I'm gonna select this variable. So this variable means this element, this anchor element, where the source is this, the downloadable file name is that. So here I need to click on it. So whenever this value is not, this counter value, the number is not greater than or 0, it's a negative value, then what I want to do, I want to clear the interval, and after clearing the interval I want to click on it. So I will select my element, this downloaded element, I want to click on it. For that I will use this dot click function. Okay, so this will click this anchor tag. Okay, and hopefully it will start downloading. So I'm gonna click on it. 5 4 3 2 1 0, and you see programming head.txt. Actual file name was download.txt, but when I downloaded the file name was programming head.txt because of this. Okay, and if you open this file, you will see the text is thanks for downloading, the same text we have provided inside this download.txt file. Thanks for downloading. Okay, so this is working, right? So the only thing is left is that as you can see here, whenever the button is not clicked, the icon is download icon, right? So if you click on it, the icon is something like a timer, or you are waiting for something. And whenever you are downloading something, you see whenever you are retrying, there's a retry icon. So if you want to do something like that, for that what you can do, you can select this element, this icon element, using this ID. So how do you select an element by its ID? For that you create a my icon element equals to document dot get element by ID, and the ID of that element we want to select this element where the ID is my icon. Okay, so using this variable my icon, I'm referring to this element. Okay, or whenever you want to change the icon, you need to change the span tags text, right? You want to change the span tags text. Let's say if I use schedule, you will see now we have different icon there. So for that, instead of selecting the parent element, why don't we select the span tag? So I want to give it an ID. ID is my Google icon. Don't use the same ID as the parent element, use a different ID. Okay, ID must be unique, my Google icon, and here instead of using my icon, my Google icon. So my Google icon. Okay, so my Google icon, I'm selecting this span tag. Okay, so what I need to do, whenever I want to change the icon, I need to change this text. So how can I change this text? Using inner text or dot inner text. So select this element. So whenever we are counting, or whenever the state is please wait, what I want to do, I want to select my Google element, this span tag. I want to change the inner text from arrow downward to schedule. Okay, schedule, you can use lowercase schedule. Okay, and yeah, if you save this, you see by default the icon is this down arrow icon. If I click download, you see there's a timer icon. And whenever at the end, whenever it reaches 0, I don't wanna, I don't want this text there, please wait 0. I wanna display something else there. So whenever we are clearing out our interval, what I want to do, I want to change this please wait text. I want to change this please wait text to something else like downloading. Okay, I want to remove this counter from there. Okay, so you will see if I click this download, the icon and the text, whenever this interval reaches 0, you will see text gonna be downloading. So it's gonna be there for 2 seconds, and after 2 seconds it's gonna display new text as a retry text or try again text. If you wanna do that, if you wanna run a code after 2 seconds, if you wanna wait for 2 seconds, then you can use set timeout. So what is the difference between set interval and set timeout? Set interval gonna run again and again after the given time, but set timeout gonna wait for the given time. So here if I use anonymous function, so here if I give it 2000 means 2 seconds, so this means it's gonna wait for 2 seconds, and after that it's gonna execute the given statement. Okay, So after 2 seconds, what I want to do, I want to change this downloading state to something else like retry or try again. So try again. And also I want to change the icon from this schedule icon to something else. So you remember that using this my Google element, we are referring to this span tag, and we need to just change this text. So I will use this my Google element variable. So whenever the text state is try again, I will use dot inner HTML, not HTML, text equals to replay. Now you will see, first we have this download text and icon. So if I click download button, see schedule icon and the timer there, and whenever timer reaches 0, downloading, and after 2 seconds try again, and there's a new icon. And if I click this try again button, you see it's downloading the same file. See, downloading the same file again, then after 2 seconds try again. Okay, so I guess everything is working. There's one more issue, that if somebody spam this button again and again, you see timer will run really fast. So normally if I click it, it's gonna wait 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's waiting at least for 5 seconds. But if somebody spam this download button, see time is going really fast, because whenever you click this button, whenever you click this this div, my download div, is gonna run this function. So whenever you run this function multiple times, which means you are incrementing the value multiple times. So that's a kind of hack. Your users might download the file without waiting for 5 seconds. So if you want to prevent that, if you want to prevent your users from doing that, what you can do, you can create a new variable the download state. So this state gonna contain boolean values like true or false. So right now the state is false, which means we are not downloading anything. So state is false. Okay, you can use string also, but I recommend booleans there. So by default the state is false, right? But whenever we start this interval, what we're gonna do, we wanna change the state, right? You wanna change the state from false to true. So what we are doing, the default state was false, and whenever we are inside our interval, you wanna change that state from false to true. And in order to access this code, or in order to start this interval, the condition is see, so inside this condition, so if you want to access this code, the condition is the state must be false. So now whenever the state is false, whenever we haven't ran this interval yet, state gonna be false, so it's gonna run this code. But if you click the button again and again, what's gonna happen, how many times you're gonna click this button is gonna change the state from false to true. So whenever the state is true, it's not gonna execute, because this condition requires the state to be false. Okay, it's a little bit confusing, but what you are doing, you are marking something that they have entered or not. So in order to enter inside this condition, then this state must be false. But as soon as they enter inside the state, we are marking their state from false to true, right? It's like ripping your ticket. Once the ticket is ripped, that means you have already used that ticket. Okay, so it's gonna fix that issue. So now this time if I spam this download button, see, it's still gonna wait for 5 seconds, no matter how many times I'm gonna click on it. Okay, see, the only issue that we're gonna face, if I try again, if I click this try again button, it's not gonna download the file again, because in order to download this file, or in order to access this part of the condition, the state must be false. So what we're gonna do, until the user is waiting for the given time, the state gonna be true. But whenever we are clearing our interval, whenever we are clearing our interval, which means we have waited for 5 seconds. So whenever that's done, we can change our state from true to default value. As you know, the default value was false, so we're gonna change it back to false. Okay, so whenever we are clearing the interval, which means we have waited for 5 seconds and the value has reached the negative value. So what we want to clear the interval, which means we don't want to count anymore, we want to stop it, and also we want to reset the state, the download state, right? Okay, now if I refresh it, you see, if I spam this button again and again, it's still gonna wait for 5 seconds. Okay, and now here if I click this try again button, it is downloading the same file again. So now everything is working, nobody can spam it, and yeah, your code is good to go. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you need this code, you will find the link inside the description. You just need to click on that link. You will see something like this. You need to click this download button, and instead of downloading this text file, you will download this index.html file. So you can download this index file from that link, and you can use that link anywhere you want. And if you have any issues, then you can contact me using the comment section or using my email address. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Have a nice day.